Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki. Tonight we'd like to bring a discussion of hearing and chanting. The opportunity for hearing and chanting, and what it means to us. hear about the appearance and the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Great fortunate opportunity. So I'm going to be reading from beginning with the Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 7. And again, another exercise on hearing, because it's until we hear about the specialty of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Lord Nityananda's appearance and their mission in this world, and what they're giving, their distribution of love of God, is really it can be something else. We can think Krishna consciousness, or the opportunity for Krishna consciousness, is overwhelming difficulty. But Lord Chaitanya is making it very, very simple. So there's one invocation prayer we should chant if most of you may know. You repeat. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Yesitarine. Some of you have read through Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhu says, graduate study from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, also graduate study from Bhagavad Gita.
So it's postgraduate study.
So, anyway, that's one reason you want to read through and just hear some. All the devotees actually don't get that far very quickly. But I remember hearing these things really solidified my determination to not stop pushing, going forward in Krishna consciousness, and my eagerness to participate in a movement that was distributing the mercy. If you haven't heard Danakeli, I'll just chant the first two verses again.
Tell them where you are so
Yeah. Okay. It's 7th chapter of Adi Leela, beginning with text 18-19. Okay, I'll just chapter 7 of the Adi Leela. There's 3. There's Adi Leela, Adi Leela, Anti Leela. Okay. Text 18-19. I'll just chant this one. Yan Sabalana Prabhura Nitya Vihara Yan Sabalana Prabhura Kirtana Prachara Yan Sabalana Karena Prema Asvadana Yan Sabalana Dana Kale Prema Dana. The internal potencies, devotees or potencies are all eternal associates in the pastimes of the Lord. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtan movement. Only with them does the Lord taste the mellow of conjugal love, and only with them does he distribute this love of God to people in general. So just to appreciate along with the Lord, his close associates, they're all eternal associates. Just as Krishna, in Krishna's Leela, he has eternal associates. So they all came again at this point. Next verse, next two verses. The characteristics of Krishna are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love. Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna when he was present, it was sealed. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates of the Panchatattva, they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. The more they tasted it, the more their thirst for it grew. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahavadanya Avatar because although he is Sri Krishna himself, he is even more favorably disposed to the poor fallen souls than Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna himself was personally present, he demanded that everyone surrender unto him and promised that he would then give one all protection. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this earth with his associates, he simply distributed transcendental love of God without discrimination. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore could understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Sri Krishna himself. For no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can distribute confidential love of the Supreme Person. Next verse. Sri Panchatattva themselves danced again and again, and thus made it easier to drink nectarian love of Godhead. They danced, cried, laughed, and chanted like madmen, and in this way they distributed love of Godhead. Next verse. Some of these purports I'm skipping. In distributing love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of Godhead. So there's no distinction for caste, creed, color, where, east, west. Next verse. Although the members of the Panchatattva plundered the storehouse of love of Godhead and ate and distributed its contents, there was no scarcity, for this wonderful storehouse is so complete that as the love is distributed, the supply increases hundreds of times. That's right. Spiritual mathematics. You give out, the more you give out, the more is there to give. And the more, actually, we should think in our opportunity to share it with others, distribute the holy name, distribute books, speak to somebody. The more we give, the more we get within the heart. So pleasing. Krishna confirms that at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. But it's even more accelerated and emphasized by Lord Chaitanya in this age. Next verse 24. Although the members of the Panchatattva, I'm reading part of that purport. A pseudo-incarnation of Krishna once told his disciple that he had emptied himself by giving him all knowledge and was thus spiritually bankrupt. Such bluffers speak in this way to cheat the public. But actual spiritual consciousness is so perfect that the more it is distributed, the more it increases. Bankruptcy is a term that applies in the material world, but the storehouse of love of Godhead in the spiritual world can never be depleted. Krishna is providing for millions and trillions of living entities by supplying all their necessities. And even if all the innumerable living entities wanted to become Krishna conscious, there would be no scarcity of love of Godhead, nor would there be insufficiency in providing for their maintenance. Srila Prabhupada used to speak like this. We have no plan for how we're going to eat tomorrow. We're just going out and chanting the holy names and distributing Krishna consciousness in different forms of literature. And Krishna's providing. And we have so many men, 50, 100 men, and we have 100 centers, and that's all. We have no program for supporting ourselves. Krishna is supporting. Okay, next verse, 25. The flood of love of Godhead swelled in all directions, and thus young men, old men, women, and children were all immersed in that inundation. So it was so tremendous what Lord Chaitanya gave and initiated, this movement based on this transcendental emotion of love of God. It's compared here to a flood. It inundated everyone. Purport. When the contents of the storehouse of love of Godhead is thus distributed, there is a powerful inundation that covers the entire land. In Sridham Mayapur, there is sometimes a great flood after the rainy season. This is an indication that from the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, the inundation of love of Godhead should be spread all over the world. For this will help everyone, including old men, young men, women, and children. The Krishna consciousness movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so powerful that it can inundate the entire world and interest all classes of men in the subject of love of Godhead. So we're not just trying to popularize some religiosity, some rules and regulations, or some principle. So if we get the opportunity, we come to that stage of communicating that. And best thing, if we go out and show it, the happiness and the dynamic, loving mood of chanting, glorifying the holy name of the Lord. And I know when I joined the movement, we were going, almost every temple in the country, everybody was going out 6 or 8 hours a day minimum on the streets chanting. And so many devotees were joining just by seeing the devotees chanting. They said, when they found out what they were doing, they said, oh, they could see. They were happy, ecstatic. They were speaking wonderful philosophy. And then they had the whole history and the personality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain. Okay. Next verse, 26. The Krishna consciousness movement will inundate the entire world and drown everyone, whether one be a gentleman, a rogue, or even lame, invalid, or blind. Purport. Here again it may be emphasized that although jealous rascals protest that Europeans and Americans cannot be given the sacred thread or sannyas, there is no need even to consider whether one is a gentleman or a rogue, because this is a spiritual movement which is not concerned with the external body of skin and bones. Because it is being properly conducted under the guidance of the Panchatattva, strictly following the regulative principles, it has nothing to do with external impediments. Nice, huh? Lord Chaitanya is just connecting. He's connecting with souls. He's going beyond all material designations, race, creed, color, and even persons who are very fallen and materially unqualified in many ways. Every soul is hankering after Krishna prema, hankering after a loving relationship. And when Lord Chaitanya's mercy enters into their heart, they respond. So So we should hope to be instruments for Lord Chaitanya to give this to others. And therefore we get it. We become more of a conduit, and we become more purified for that spiritual current that comes through us. And we should feel very happy and satisfied that Lord Chaitanya's movement is being given by pure representatives, our disciplic succession, down to today. And Prabhupada has established a very strong foundation, and he says he's given the whole instructions to build the whole house. He said, you just fill it in. So we have a lot of work to do, because the recommendation is that it will inundate the entire world, everyone, affect everyone. Okay. Next verse. When the 5 members of the Panchatattva saw the entire world drowned in love of Godhead, and the seed of material enjoyment in the living entities completely destroyed, they all became exceedingly happy. So this is another important point. I'm going to read half the first paragraph of the purport. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya that since the living entities all belong to the marginal potency of the Lord, each and every living entity has a natural tendency to become Krishna conscious, although at the same time the seed of material enjoyment is undoubtedly within him. We're all in the same boat, material desires, material enjoyment. The seed of material enjoyment, watered by the course of material nature, fructifies to become a tree of material entanglement that endows the living entity with all kinds of material enjoyment. To enjoy such material facilities is to be afflicted with the 3 material miseries. However, when by nature's law there is a flood, the seeds within the earth become inactive. Similarly, as the inundation of love of Godhead spreads all over the world, the seeds of material enjoyment become impotent. Thus, the more the Krishna consciousness movement spreads, the more the desire for material enjoyment decreases. The seed of material enjoyment automatically becomes impotent with the increase of the Krishna consciousness movement. Another inspiration for ourselves and for others. We've been on, big Harinam processions in some of the big cities in Chicago and New York. And sometimes we go by the places where, the most advanced materialists are out there enjoying. They're at a sidewalk cafe or going into a movie and they're all dressed up. Guys and the girls together enjoying, and we come by and they just stop. I've seen this, man. It's so transcendently wonderful. They stop and they have to look, and then all of a sudden they're like, sometimes, but they respond favorably. They stop their mood of material enjoyment, and they're affected by the happiness, the ecstasy that's coming from the devotees chanting holy names. That's right. Very nice. And so they become attracted. That impression stays in their mind. So the more they can see that, they won't read a book, they won't talk philosophy or anything, but that will affect them. Okay. Next verse, 28. The more the 5 members of the Panchatattva cause the rains of love of Godhead to fall, the more the inundation increases and spreads all over the world. Next 2 verses. The impersonalists, fruitive workers, false logicians, blasphemers, non-devotees, and lowest among the student community are very expert in avoiding the Krishna consciousness movement and therefore the inundation of Krishna consciousness cannot touch them. There's a big problem.
We experience that at the universities, right? We experience that at the universities, that the student community is very expert in avoiding the Krishna consciousness movement. Okay, sounds like we're getting our inundation here.
Yeah. 31 and 32. Seeing that the Mayavadis and others were fleeing, Lord Chaitanya thought, I wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead, but some of them have escaped. Therefore, I shall devise a trick to drown them also. Next. Thus, the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration.
Why? We're talking about the rains of love of Godhead inundating the world, and
The Shrikar said there was a tornado watch.
Oh, this. I just saw it's a thunderstorm warning. It's not tornado.
okay.
So we don't need shelter.
Never take shelter here. So, I'm stopping there and shifting to the 8th chapter. Beginning with text 10.
Just jumping forward to the 8th chapter, text 10.
Okay. So we're jumping into a little section here, but the same thought pattern is being continued. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, unless people accept me, they will all be destroyed. Thus the merciful Lord accepted the sannyas order. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, 3rd chapter, it is said, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, or Lord Krishna's name, one is liberated and goes back home, back to Godhead. This Krishna consciousness must be achieved through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One cannot be complete in Krishna consciousness unless he accepts Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates as the only means for success. It is because of these considerations that the Lord accepted sannyas. For thus people would offer him respect and very quickly come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, inaugurated the Krishna consciousness movement, without his mercy, one cannot be elevated to the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness. So this is important for us to be convinced about this and to be able to share it with others. And for ourselves to get the mercy to do what we want to do as servants of the Lord. That this is the Lord's appearance in Kali Yuga. He's appearing in his holy name, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahe Anya. So the two have come together in one. In the mood, the highest mood of loving Krishna and tasting that love of Krishna and sharing that with others. Very, very unusual. It doesn't happen in yugas and yugas. So we're very, and only 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya is appearing. So this caught me when I heard something about Lord Chaitanya. I said, oh, Really? God is appearing, this avatar is coming just recently. I need to study this. If this is a fact, it's like a business opportunity when it just comes up, you get on the ground floor opportunities. Anyway, I thought, because I was so disturbed by all these different views and moods of Christianity and disagreeing religiosity in the world. I said, this is recent.
Hello.
This is the most recent thing, and I should take advantage. So very quickly I started understanding that. It was very exciting. Although, I couldn't share it with others, too much. But anyway, we're getting the full understanding here from Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srila Prabhu's explanations. Okay, next verse. If a person offers obeisances to me, even due to accepting me only as an ordinary sannyasi, his material distresses will diminish, and he will ultimately get liberation. Verse 12. One who does not show respect unto this merciful Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or does not worship him, should be considered a demon, even if he is very much exalted in human society. Next. Therefore I say again, lifting my arms, O fellow human beings, please worship Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda without false arguments. Next. Logicians say, unless one gains understanding through logic and argument, how can one decide upon a worshipable deity? That's 15. If you're indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. So, for those with that kind of intelligence, that means we have to hear about Lord Chaitanya, what he did, how he affected others, his own ecstasy, and make a judgment. It's the end of this same purport. I'm going to read section. I think this was a verse by one of Lord Chaitanya's devotees, Prabhu Saraswati. Therefore, if a logician makes his judgment impartially, he will surely find that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Mahavadanya Avatar, the most magnanimous incarnation. He is even more magnanimous than Lord Krishna himself. Lord Krishna demanded that one surrender unto him, but he did not distribute love of Godhead as magnanimously as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami offers Lord Chaitanya his respectful obeisances with the words, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaur Krishnaya Namaha. Lord Krishna simply gave the Bhagavad Gita, by which one can understand Lord Krishna as he is. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was also Krishna himself, gave people love of Krishna without discrimination. So a whole other level from understanding Krishna to loving Krishna. And we know what happens when we love Krishna. What does Krishna say?
He'll protect us.
He'll protect us, but he'll, more than that, we can, just by loving Krishna, Bhaktyamam Avijanati, Yavanyash Jashmi Tatputaha, we were hearing the other day. We can know Krishna perfectly. He's just standing before us. He'll show himself. When the devotee actually has love for Krishna, Krishna can't stay hidden behind his curtain of Maya. Right now, there's a curtain of Maya, of illusory energy that is separating us. Even though he's right within the heart, he can manifest to us, each of us individually. And his pastimes are eternally going on. But the problem is our disease, as we were speaking earlier. We have no love for Krishna, so we can't. And that's given by him. Right? You've all read in Prabhupada's books. It says love of Godhead. So it's love of God descending to us, so we have to catch it. We have to learn the technique of catch that descending mercy. And Lord Chaitanya is the special appearance of the Lord that's giving it. Only one. Krishna didn't give. Prabhupada said Krishna didn't give. Lord Chaitanya is giving that. Okay, next verse, 16. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead that